There is now an explosion of innovation among the young Ugandans. There is something people outside may not know, and that is that Uganda has got a very highly educated population. The literacy rate is now like 80%. Now, these young people initially were in the colonial mode. You know how the colonialists distort you people, Africans. They were educated, and when we came in, we expanded education, but they were looking for clerical jobs in the government, for just being the bureaucrats in the government. But we kept telling them that this is not the right way, because the public service is employing about 480,000 people out of a population of 44 million. So how can the public sector be an answer? So we kept telling them about the 4 private sectors: commercial agriculture, manufacturing, industry, services, and ICT. We kept talking, but now it seems there is some revolution which is going on. When you are looking for the real Africans, the ones who had literal damage from the Europeans and the Arabs, because they all damaged us, damaged our people. You have them in Uganda now. So when His Excellency Ramaphosa came and was attracted by these Ankole cows, it was because our people had defended those cows. Because the Europeans came, they tried to destroy our heritage. You can imagine they established a colony in Kenya where the white settlers settled. And in Kenya, they had a commercial dairy sector which was producing for the market, but not in Uganda. In Uganda, there was no dairy market. So those Ankole cows remained just doing traditional jobs. No commercial. And the idea was that we would abandon them. But we refused. We didn't abandon the Ankole cows. We kept them until when we came and now also revived the Ugandan dairy sector. Ugandan dairy sector now will outcompete all these dairy sectors in the world. We are now at 3 billion liters. We are aiming at 10, 15 billion liters of milk. There's nobody who can beat us in milk. We have been looking after cows for the last 7,000 years. Who can beat us? So this is what I'm surprised my son-in-law knows. Is quite incisive, because he saw the culture, the heritage. So when you are looking for African heritage, there you have it. This idea of the Ankole cow was just a tip of the iceberg. But if you go to the cereals, these are indigenous, ancient. You go to coffee. You know, coffee is the origin of coffee is that area. That area, Ethiopia, that our area. This is the origin of coffee. Then you come to other foods. Then you come to fibers. It's just the tip of the. So therefore, that cultural heritage side, linking with business, is not only good for Africa, but even for the whole world. I want to encourage the idea of partnerships. what Mbira was talking about was the unseen purchasing power of Africa. That's what he was telling you in his comments. He was telling you how they thought that the telephone users in Uganda would only be 8,000. Now they are 28 million. And that was all hidden. It was not seen. Now, this is the same for all the other products. You will see the consumption. It will go up.
The business communities from Uganda, you're welcome to South Africa. Thank you for coming in such great force and with such great opportunities for us to look at as South African business. And to the South African business community, thank you for supporting us and continuing to show interest in our brothers and looking to invest into Uganda. I think I'll touch on 4 quick points, if I may, that His Excellency spoke about yesterday. And he spoke about how to drive economic development. You need to look at 4 important factors. The first one is capital, investment in land, and how we efficiently use the land. And I think for us, both in South Africa and in Uganda, that is a very important part of what we want to do in delivering social development for our people, developing economic wealth within our economies. We have human capital, and Uganda is a shining example of great human capital on the continent. Universities such as Makerere University have produced excellent students who have gone around the world and changed the world that we live in and become global experts in their areas. So human capital is important for us. Then, of course, ultimately, innovation. It talks about entrepreneurship. And in this room, we have many bright minds, experienced minds in the room. Uncle Charles was referring to us youth. We must do our part. And indeed, we will do that. We will innovate. We will find more effective ways to do business with each other and not only invest in each other, trade with each other efficiently. And then, of course, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's all about creating markets, developing those markets, both in South Africa for Ugandan products, Ugandan produce, and also vice versa in Uganda for South African products and South African produce as well. And I think for me, what underlies it all is also cultural exchange. And I'll give a small example of something that ultimately led to a great business opportunity in South Africa and also in Uganda, which is the Ankole programs that we have here. So it starts off with a cultural exchange, a love. And we have a term for it in the family. It's called Adopt a Project, where at the end of the day, despite a need to do business and an opportunity to do business, you have to find each other culturally and have a love for the business that you're doing together. So when a gentleman here, Uncle Charles, introduced my father to His Excellency, and they met on the farm, and he saw these beautiful cattle, the lovely horns, the most beautiful specimen of cattle in the world. There was a love and an appreciation for the animal first. And there was an understanding that there's an opportunity for cultural exchange, and in that South Africa can benefit from an introduction of a new species of cattle in our country and learn from it, introduce better beef product, milk product into our market. And after years of hard work, follow-ups, focus, and amongst all those many things that Brother Audric, Humphrey, Stephen, Philip have been leading here, those exchanges and discussing even now in short the things that we need to do, they achieved those and ultimately led to what is now the Ankole Association in South Africa, which is now a multi-million-dollar industry. And so in closing, I would then say that to encourage these loves, these adopt a project ideas, we must face some hard challenges. We have acknowledged that there are issues around the visa regime. We will work on it, and we will work together, both as Ugandan citizens and South African citizens, to look towards a better way for us to do business and encourage our governments to foster an environment where we can exchange. And I don't have to knock at my brother's home to say I'm coming, and he doesn't